Welcome back to my channel. I'm back. I just got a brand new microphone. That should help. I just wanted to show you how to make a really quick uh, acrylic keychain. So for this, you're going to need your basic acrylic blank. I get these from Roshkoinnovations, somewhere near Edmonton. Some gold leaf from Amazon, some mica, also from Amazon, and some gold caramel glitter. I get it from Glitterbabes, and your basic UV resin. I also bought this kind from Amazon. Just removing the protective covering from the acrylic blank. I've seen clear covering, I've seen these paper coverings, doesn't really matter. I usually work on one side at a time, keeping the covering on the other side. I'm not horrifically careful with these. The resin fills any little scratches I seem to get. Take a little bit of your mica. I actually found that I used a bit too much in this, so just take a little bit of your mica. It's a bit of a pinky goldy color. It's quite pretty. And we're just going to add the resin directly to the mica and mix them together. I don't want it particularly well mixed. I wanted kind of a blended, almost ombre, just, little mixes of color. Nothing too opaque, nothing too dense. Just add a little bit of that UV resin to your mica and give it a quick mix. I'm just going to give this a quick mix. There's really no right or wrong way to do this. This was just kind of a fun experiment to see if I could almost make a gradient or an ombre version. I'm just going to add a bit of the pink mica. I'll add some clear to it just to blend in some areas. Work quick, try not to get too many bubbles. And now we'll mix a bit of the glitter. Same thing. I usually add my glitter to my resin. I don't like dumping glitter on top of everything. It makes such a mess. This is actually a cleaner way to use glitter, I find. And it does give a nice finish. Just lumping it all on and adding a bit more resin to blend it all in and mix it up. Just keep going, blending, mixing until you're happy with the final result. It's not, unless there's a sunlight beaming on you, there's not tremendous hurry. Here in Canada, it is really cold and I haven't seen the sun in a while, so we're okay. Just keep adding little bits of resin. Make sure you get around the outside. That's where UV resin has a tendency to shrink. So make sure that you're really happy with your placement. You've got a nice little almost bubble over before you cure it. I think this was the most time-consuming part. I'm just adding little bits of gold fleck, or what do they call that? Gold sheets, there we go. This is just from Amazon. I get a lot of stuff from Amazon. It's often hard to get stuff in Canada. I'm not sure why art supplies can be a little bit difficult to come by. Specialty stuff can be a little bit more difficult to come by. So I do end up getting quite a bit from Amazon. So just go at your own pace, just keep moving things around until you're happy with it. I added a little bit of resin just to go on top of the gold flecks to make sure that they're really encapsulated, I guess is the word, in the resin. I get a lot of questions about curing resin. You can see I'm using my hands just to make sure that when you cover the resin and hide the light, you can often see little spots where you've missed or spots of inconsistencies. There'll be shadows. So just make sure you're really, really happy with it. I didn't have any bubbles on this one, so I didn't have to hit it with the flame. But normally I would hit it quick with a blowtorch and then put my light on it. I do get quite a few questions about curing. I do cure it for a couple of minutes at each side, and I do find it can sometimes stay a little bit tacky. In those cases, I do put it in the window. The UV really cures it better than anything else, like natural UV. So the one side is now cured. We're just going to pop the back off. The next side, I generally like to do color on one side and wording on the other. It kind of gives a shadow and almost a little bit of dimension to the piece. I just prefer the look of it. You can see I've got a little bit of a gradient in there. This one was for a coworker, so she had something to hang her keys, her work keys on. I do find the best place to get fonts is Design Bundles. Once a month they do like a $1 day, and I often buy these huge packages of fonts that you could never use all of the fonts for $1, and it gives a good variety. I do not have good luck with transfer tape. I'm not sure why. No matter what kind I buy, I struggle. You'll often see me struggle with transfer tape in videos. I'm not sure why. This is actually really hard to do on camera because the camera, it's not super close because I can't see over top of it. So just take your time. When I'm designing these in Design Space, I actually take a circle the size of my acrylic blank. So I'll just make a circle, a 2-inch circle, and then I will put my writing inside and I'll measure it that way. That way I know about how big or what it's going to look like before I even cut it. And then I just delete the circle. I'm just trimming it a little bit. It was a little bit big. If you ever get it over the edge like that, you can trim it, or you can use a nail file and that will take it down. I never pre-cut the holes because I'm never quite sure. I'm never that direct or exact when I put on the decal. So I always just cut it out with an X-Acto knife afterwards. I find it works just fine. And I'm just going to add a basic layer of UV resin, just clear over the top. Again, take your time, make sure all the edges are done because it will pull away from the edges. And make sure you have that nice dome. I often, to check it, I'll often put a light on. I'll unplug my UV light and I'll put it over top, and looking for shadows underneath it and without direct light on top, and it does make a real big difference. It's actually one of the best hints I can give is to check for those little divots and shadows to make sure you get a nice domed look when you're done. I do like to use UV resin for these. I've tried a few things. I'm too impatient to use epoxy resin, and I have used Crystalac. There I am checking for bumps. I am a little bit impatient for Crystalac on these. I don't find the finish what I'm looking for, and I do find UV resin my favorite for these keychains. And again, I'm probably gonna hit it 3 or 4 minutes. It depends on the temperature outside. I find I live in a very, very damp climate. It can vary on how long I need to hit it for. but they do eventually stop being tacky. Sometimes if I just leave them overnight as well, if they're a little bit tacky, by morning, even without UV sunlight, they'll be fully cured. And we're just going to add the hardware. I do get the hardware off Amazon. Do splurge on the more expensive jump rings. They do make a difference. You use cheap jump rings and they just kind of fly open with use if you pull on them a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I was able to give more instruction with the new microphone rather than just the flashcards. And please like and subscribe.